Chris, and this is Pear Tree Mallet. I'm a beginner woodworker, and my wife's a preschool teacher who wants a bird table building for her kids so they can paint it on Monday. 3 days, can I do it? This is not really a how to build a bird table. This is how not to, this is how I built a bird table. I should really entitle it Adventures in Building a Bird Table. So for the table, I'm going to use some hardwood. I'm going to use my firewood, my much depleted firewood. This is a nice sized board. The great thing about it is I don't have to do any joinery. This is a bit I really hate, these ripping boards like this. I wish I had a bandsaw, but then I'll be complaining about the bandsaw being out of true and everything. So now we need some posts. I've got a bit of firewood that I partly cut up. I'm now breaking it down a bit further into 4 posts. The thing about this bird table is absolutely no planning has gone into it whatsoever. It's all based on my memory of using bird tables in the past. So we'll see where this gets us. You know, not actually using bird tables, but feeding birds and clearing up their crap afterwards. How am I going to do the roof? Be nice to use these boards, but they're a bit crappy. I can't remember what size this is. It'll do the job though. A little bit of joinery, put these 2 boards together. We've now got a roof. Yay! Now, any excuse to do a bit of planing. This is an Ulmer brand of plane. Do they join? Oh look, they go together. That's not too bad then. So that's 2 boards done. Better go off and get a pencil, I suppose. Yeah. Some markings. I ought to learn what markings go on these boards, but as I'm doing it, who cares? So my Chinese plane, I've done a couple of videos on this. I still haven't sorted out the chip breaker, but the plane itself is very good. It's particularly good at joining boards. Right, I bet you're bored with that by now. Time to move on to something new. And for once, I'm going to smear this evenly across the boards. Normally I just put the glue on and then put the boards together. Haven't had any fail yet. There you go. Go together nicely. And I'll leave this overnight. See those clamps on the right? I got them from Lidl for next to nothing. My wife bought them for me. My wife buys me everything. She's great. Oh look, all the glue's come out. Meant to do that? I don't know. I think it's Paul Sellers that said using shavings for this was a good way of getting the glue off. I decided it wasn't. See those clamps on the right? I got them from Lidl for next to nothing. My wife bought them for me. My wife buys me everything. She's great. Dirt cheap. The only thing I don't like about it is a little button for releasing it, which is a bit hard at times compared to these Irwin and Work Pro. Dip this rag in the water butt. Don't have any running water in winter. You can see that little red button. See? It's quite difficult to release it, especially if you've really ramped it up. Job done. Overnight to dry. These strips are just to go around the edge of the table, stop the food from flying off. If you like my hat, it's available in some shops. It's quite funny watching this old man put these things together sometimes. Hasn't got a clue. So there we go. You see I left some gaps at either end. This is a design flaw. The idea was there. We need some gaps so they can scrape out any bird food that mangles up over time. For fuck's sakes, the noise from that bloody hell. But see, here's me noticing. What a screw up. Oh dear. Our little village has become a diversion for all the traffic for Pfizer and other drug companies up the road. And it's really, really noisy. And the whole house shakes when these 40-ton trucks go past. This is the next day. These two have dried out nicely. Quick plane down to take off the roughness. You can see that the boards that I used, they've been out in the weather for quite some time. I'm very happy with that. Now, normally I've been doweling when joining boards. And these, I decided I wasn't going to bother doweling because they're pretty rubbish boards. And they're the best I've joined any boards yet. Admittedly, it's the best I've actually managed to plane the edges. I think I suddenly developed a bit of a fetish for putting glue on with my finger. Don't normally do this. And of course this is perfectly 90 degrees, given that my table is not that flat. Now, I'm not very good at using a nail gun. Never used one before. So I end up having to hammer everything in. I'm aware that there's a setting, but it doesn't say which way to increase the pressure. So. Now I need to make a bit of a frame to put the roof onto. Every time I plane a board, you can guarantee I got the grain wrong. I'm always planing against the grain. Okay, those will go like that. Yeah, okay. So I wanted to make these a 45-degree angle on the long side, so I could then nail more securely the roof to this frame. And if any of you are really astute, you might notice it's a bit difficult with this angle. There's something about these that I'm making 45 degrees. They'll become obvious soon. So here we go. Some of you are going, yeah, you're a bloody idiot. Because I haven't worked it out yet. I haven't worked it. Oh, no, shit, I have. Oh dear. Yeah. Oh, you idiot. That's not the way the roof's going on. Oh, I'm using the cheapest square I could find. And it happens to be the best square apart from the one I made when I was an apprentice, which I still have, and it's very good. Here I am forgetting glue. I'm good at this. I think I'll do it again later. decided that these legs were too long, or posts were too long, and they needed chopping down. Let's stick the posts on and get myself a nice square there. Make sure everything's lovely and square. That's really good. Yeah, it's square. It's the squarest thing that's ever been square. Now let's put this on here. Let's see if I can put this. Oh look, I've just unsquared it. What a hack job I'm doing. We'll get there in the end. Just making sure the measurements between top and bottom are the same. We don't want wonky posts now, do we? If you're thinking this is late in the day, it's not late in the day. It's actually about 2 in the afternoon, I think. It might even be a little bit earlier than that. It might be 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I think this was just after lunch. It's a little bit top heavy, but this is going to be hanging rather than on a post. Still looks a bit top heavy though. Perhaps should have thinned the roof down a bit more. But being construction timber, it doesn't do thin very well. So I did brand nail it, but I'm also going to put some screws in. Extra security. I don't have any eye bolts, so I got some pliers. That would have been enough, but never mind. The more astute of you will recognise that this softwood has woodworm. In fact, all of my construction wood seems to have woodworm. That doesn't mean I'm using my construction wood for any construction. From now on, it's only ever going to be used for building stuff like this. The only thing I got left is a bit of string. What would I do differently? Well, I think I would make it a little bit smaller, not so tall. And I would use hardwood for the roof. I enjoyed making this bird table, especially when it's nice and sunny like it is today. If you have enjoyed this video, please give it a like. It will help me along, encourage me to make more. But if you don't want me to make more, then don't. And by all accounts, the children really enjoyed painting this and seeing it hang in the garden.